Hi everyone, today I'm sharing with you the newest fragrance releases you need to know about. These are some stellar releases that I am so excited to share. This is a video that we do here every single Monday where we talk about the newest fragrance releases and we discuss whether we want to purchase them or not and why. I also do videos on Wednesdays and Fridays along with a ton of bonus content in between. I'm starting to release full-length videos on days are not my scheduled release dates, so be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell to make sure that you're not missing those videos. And I also do a lot of shorts as well. So I am excited about today's video because there are a ton of really interesting releases. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking I want so many things and I'm excited to share them with you. So let's get into it. First, we have a new release by Tiziana Terenzi. This is going to be called Dade. This is a Harrods exclusive, and this is a woody aromatic fragrance, and it includes notes of black pepper, eucalyptus, santalina, lemon, and rosewood at the top, a mid of clary sage, coumarin, benzoin, jasmine, and broom, which seems to be a flower, and then a base of Australian sandalwood, ambergris, vetiver, sequoia, and birch. So this looks like it could easily be a unisex perfume. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. However, since it is a Harrods exclusive, it's not something that I can access personally. So this will be a pass for me, but I think this would look absolutely beautiful. Tiziana Terenzi, they have so many fragrances that they're always launching. It's kind of almost difficult to keep up, to be honest. I have a few decants from them and I've smelled some of their fragrances and I really do like what I have smelled, but I don't own any full bottles from this collection. But if you live in the UK, are you going to be purchasing this? Are you interested in trying it out? Let me know what you think. So this is a fragrance release from Valentino that I am very excited about, and it doesn't appear that I'm the only one because the internet has been a bit of buzz with this lately. This is a new collection of 7 fragrances from Valentino, and this collection is called Anatomy of Dreams. The color scheme is a rainbow, and they are pretty much looking to gain inspiration from a Roman palazzo. And I'm going to go right down the list to give you the names of all these fragrances and go into the notes. So first up, we have Sogno in Rosso. This is a velvety, milky Italian fragrance with a bit of pepper. And this will have notes of black pepper, juniper berry essence, and petitgrain essence at the top, a mid of incense, orange blossom absolute, latte foam, and then a base of sandalwood heart, vanilla bourbon premium infusion, Madagascar, and ambergris accord. Right away I can see that this is probably going to be very popular. Everyone really likes a milk note right now, and this is the one that's really standing out to me at the moment. Then we have Behind the Scene. This will be an aromatic perfume with turmeric leaf oil at the top, a hazelwood accord, geranium oil, and orris accord in the mid, and then a base of cedarwood oil, vetiver heart, and sandalwood heart. We have Punk Romantic, which looks really, really edgy and fun and cool, with black pepper oil at the top, a mid of juniper berry oil, olive wood accord, and then a base of sandalwood heart, vanilla bourbon premium extract, Madagascar, and vanilla bourbon premium extract from Madagascar, and musks. Then we have Club Couture. This will have patchouli and fig with a top of bergamot, heart, bitter orange oil, and mandarin oil, a mid of fig accord, orange flower absolute, and orris accord, and then a base of cedarwood oil, patchouli, barley oil, and musks. We also have Note d'Or. If I'm mispronouncing these, forgive me please. But this will have top notes of sweet orange oil, grapefruit oil, black cherry accord, a mid of jasmine absolute heart from India, geranium oil, rose oil, and then a base of patchouli oil, sandalwood heart, and then oud oil. The way these notes are listed in the marketing release is kind of confusing to me, to be honest. Then we have Private Talk, which is going to have ginger essence at the top, a tuberose absolute heart, and then ylang essence, as well as cappuccino, and then a base of sandalwood heart, cedarwood, Virginia essence, and white musks. Then we have L'Innocence de l'air, which is inspired by an Italian garden with green mandarin at the top, angelica seeds, a mid of ambrette, rose centrifolia, and then a base of rose damask absolute, musks, and yeah, so Whew, that was a bit of a mouthful. But these are all beautiful fragrances. It appears that the caps are going to be glass. The one that's standing out to me right now the most is, of course, the milk one. And Emma over at Perfumerism also has been promoting that as like one of her favorites. That's definitely my favorite as well. I think these fragrances look beautiful, and these easily will be fragrances that I am very keen on trying myself. So I can't wait, honestly. I'm wondering how much these will be. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm like guessing these will be at least $200. If I had to guess, I don't know how much this will be, and I don't have a release date at the moment. So yeah, this is something that I am interested in trying, but this will be a little bit more of a higher end release. We also have another collection from Paco Rabanne. This is Collection Rabanne. Paco Rabanne is kind of known for releasing fragrances that are a little bit more playful. With this, they are trying to make a bit of a pivot from that, and they are trying to release fragrances that are more high end. So they're dropping Paco from the marketing, and they're just calling this La Collection Rabanne. And this will be inspired by a singular fragrance, which is Calandre Rabanne. And they have all these fragrances. I don't think I'm going to go into each and every individual one for this one, because I don't want this video to be like a whole slew of me just talking about like the same fragrances in various collections. I will say this. Oh yeah, we do have pricing. So we have £235 per bottle. It's actually not bad considering that the bottles do look very luxurious. This is packaging I actually do like. I think this is luxe, beautiful, and they're really trying to go for that elevation in aesthetics. So this is something I am excited about. I don't know if I'll necessarily go out of my way to like blind buy this, of course. Same thing with the Valentino. I mean, I'm excited to smell these in store when they are available. I don't know what stores they will be available in. I'm guessing like Saks, Bergdorf's, that sort of thing. I'm not sure. But this looks really interesting, and I'm excited for it. So we have another Bond number 9 fragrance. This is going to be called Island Bond, and this is a green aromatic perfume with top notes of white ginger, water mint, and basil, a mid of champaca, seaweed, and green notes, and then a base of sandalwood, amber, and moss. I do think generally the fragrance community has grown a little bit used to seaweed because in part with Paulina Shar's Lost in a Dream release, that is a fragrance with seaweed in it. So I think seaweed right now is regarded as a note that's possibly not as intimidating as, say, it once might have been. So this looks very interesting. I think this would be an exciting release. I don't know how strong that mint will be because sometimes mint can overtake a fragrance. However, I will say this, I'm not like a huge fan of Bond number 9, and it's for a few reasons. And again, this is like my opinion, and you're free to have a different one, and that's totally fine. Um, Bond number 9 to me, considering the price point and considering that the fact that they're trying to promote themselves as a very luxurious house, to me it just looks a little bit cheap, just like aesthetics wise. So I'm just not like super into the general look of the brand because it just looks kind of cliche. So that's why I couldn't really see myself spending Bond number 9 money for something that looks like this aesthetically. But I understand a lot of people really love this brand. It's highly regarded. I will say I think it's a little bit interesting their history. They've had like a little bit of a questionable history when it comes to like their treatment of customers. They have been a little bit discriminatory in their boutiques, and the owner has been a little bit questionable in terms of like her reaction to people critiquing that. Um, so yeah, that's why this is not necessarily a brand that I would be super excited about. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this, and you might think it's too particular, and you might think I'm being too picky, but when you're spending a lot of money on something, I kind of want me to be able to look at that item and not feel icky about it. So that's why I don't think I would ever really purchase anything from Bond number 9. because of the aesthetics of it and just because of the fact that they have a bit of a questionable history. Okay, so we do have some other Valentino releases that are not part of their private collection. So first we have Born in Roma the Gold Uomo for men, and then Born in Roma the Gold Donna for women. So I'm gonna go for the men's version first. This is a vanilla ambery fragrance with top notes of solar notes, spicy notes, and nutmeg, a mid of Virginia cedar, and then a base of vanilla and amber. On the other hand, the feminine version is a citrus coconut perfume with top notes of mandarin, a mid of gardenia, and then a base of coconut. This is the first time, maybe not the first time, well, actually, probably the first time that I've looked at a Valentino his and her release, and I'm kind of more interested in the men's version than the women's wear version. And it's a bit fascinating because we don't really see a lot of vanilla forward releases being directed at men as much as women. And vanilla is such like a trending note right now, especially in the designer space, that I think is very interesting that they're launching an assumingly masculine leaning fragrance for men that has vanilla and a bit of a gourmand element to it. So I am actually kind of like I'm quite excited about this. It'll be way more accessible than the higher end fragrances that they're coming out with, which is good, meaning I can probably smell this like at any Ulta or Sephora, so that's great. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. I'm more excited about the men's version than the women's version, possibly also because like there's so many coconut fragrances that are coming out that I think I've like gotten a little bit. I've gotten my coconut fix. There are a few fragrances that I'm eyeing, like I think Paulina Char's newest launch, which I will cover a little bit more in next week's video, but I also did talk about it in last week's video. We just don't have a name when I'm filming this right now, so I didn't want to like regurgitate it again. But that one I think will have coconut in it, and I'm super excited about that release. But I'm just like very picky with the coconut fragrances that I add to my collection because so many times like they just don't smell that great to me. Sometimes they smell a little bit too sun lotiony, and I get rather sick of that scent profile rather quickly. So that's why I'm hesitant to try out the feminine version. I mean, I'll probably try it out, but I'm hesitating on that one, but I do really like the men's version. We also have a new release from Paradis. This is going to be a white floral fragrance called Zanadu. And this is a perfume that's going to have top notes of mandarin orange, peach, and bergamot, a mid of lily of the valley, orange blossom, rose, and jasmine, and then a base of musk, vanilla, vetiver, and amber. Not gonna lie, when I first saw this fragrance, I saw that it was gonna be like a citrusy white floral. I was kind of like, okay. But then I saw the notes and I'm like, okay, this actually looks very fun. We've seen brands including peach and juxtaposing it with like lighter white florals a little bit in the past. Parfum de Marly did it with their Valaya fragrance, and I smelled that one. I really, really like it. This looks like they're doing something similar, not the same, of course, but I am excited about this one. I really want to smell it. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and yeah, I'm excited about this one. I also do want to talk about a new release by Brandt Perfume that I haven't really covered as much as I probably should, considering that this is quite like a big release in like the indie perfume space. Brandt is such an interesting brand. They have some really beautiful fragrances right now. They only have 3 fragrances, this new fragrance being one of them. But everything they're coming out with seems to be very thoughtful, very intentional, and people seem to really like it. Clea is one of my favorite fragrances that really has like that crisp white floral that's very refreshing. I love that one. They came out with that one last year. And this time they are venturing into something more gourmand with Guava Sorbet. I am so excited about this. This is going to, like, this looks so interesting. I do want to get the travel size actually. I think it just sold out. No. It was on the site yesterday and it seems to have sold out. Oh my goodness. Well, I think, okay, you can pre-order these. But ouch. Yeah, I want to get the travel size. The travel size is $40, not bad. The only other option is to get the full size, which is like a little bit over $200. but that's 100 milliliters. I don't think that's bad pricing whatsoever. I think it's actually pretty fair. So you have top notes of guava, passion fruit, bergamot, and mandarin grapefruit at the top, and then a mid of sugar crystals, guava, osmanthus, white jasmine, and then a base of vanilla, sandalwood, dry amber, and musk. Osmanthus is a floral that typically like provides like a very fluffy addition to fruity fragrances, but I'm so excited about this. Like, I am excited about this. I will definitely be getting myself a travel size. This looks so beautiful. Like, this looks delicious. It looks like it will be like a refreshing gourmand fragrance. And it's not oftentimes that you get that. Not a lot of gourmand fragrances are refreshing. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have any on the market. I'm just saying that usually when you see a gourmand fragrance, it's a little bit more, it's heavier, it's not as refreshing, and I do like seeing, especially this year, new releases that have like a bit of a zestiness to it. And this looks really exciting, so I am definitely going to be getting my hands on this fragrance. Okay, so we have a new release by Sol de Janeiro. They have been popping off lately. This new fragrance will be Sol de Janeiro Cheirosa 76. This is going to be a perfume that's in their permanent line, and it will have notes of black currant at the top, a heart of white midnight jasmine and lush freesia, and then a base of amber woods. This will be a floral ambery fragrance, and this was a perfume that came out in fall of 2023 called After Hours, but now they've repackaged it and they're adding it to their permanent lineup. I think that's kind of interesting because this is not the first time we've seen it from Sol de Janeiro, them launching like limited edition lines and then taking like one that was really a fragrance that was really popular and then repackaging it into their permanent line. I think that's actually pretty smart because then they can get a sense of what their customer likes. I would say Sol de Janeiro does black currant really well. They have Cheirosa 60, which I believe is like a vanilla black currant fragrance. I really like, wait no, that's Cheirosa 40. Cheirosa 40 is a vanilla black currant fragrance that I personally really like. So yeah, I would smell this. Am I super excited about it? No. Am I excited about any of the Sol de Janeiro releases? Not really. I mean, they're fun, they're inexpensive, I love the price point, I love how accessible they are. Do I try them? Yes. Do I get excited about them? Not as much as some other brands. If I'm being totally honest, I love how accessible they are. I think that's great, but yeah, Sol de Janeiro. Let's see, and by the way, oh my gosh. Should I like, okay, should I do this? You know what? Okay. Actually, what do I have to lose with this? I feel like this is the second time in this video that I've kind of like bad mouthed a brand. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. You don't want to know my real thoughts about this brand? They are cosplaying as Brazilian, but they're not Brazilian. That's the thing. It's literally all about the marketing. They are an American brand. They literally cosplay Brazilian culture, and it's not even Brazilian culture in a genuine sense. It's literally beach culture and it's packaged as Brazil. It's not Brazil. It's literally cosplay. Like, it's kind of, is it appropriation? I mean, like, if you're Brazilian, let me know. Do you think it's appropriation? But for a long time, I was like, yeah, it's a Brazilian brand, and then I looked into it, and I found out that is not the case. They're based in New York. This is an American brand. I don't even know if the owners are Brazilian. It doesn't feel like it because it feels very sanitized and feels very American. So yeah, take with that what you will. I do think they're very accessible. I still buy from them. I still love their fragrances. But if you now you know. If you didn't know, in the past, they are an American brand cosplaying as Brazilian. Next, we have Yara Candy. So this is from Lattafa. This is going to be part of their permanent line, and they are heavily promoting this. I think Lattafa, especially lately, has been taken a little bit more seriously as a fragrance brand. You have a lot of people online that may have like steered away from fragrances like Lattafa or fragrance brands like a Lattafa, trying them out, appreciating them, and honestly, as someone who has talked about Lattafa and other affordable Middle Eastern brands for years, I am really happy to see that because the whole idea of Middle Eastern fragrances, like the whole reason why I talk about them so much, is because it's an accessible way for people to enjoy fragrances. If you're looking at a designer fragrance and thinking, okay, I could buy that, but it's a little bit higher, like it's a little bit higher in terms of pricing that I'm comfortable with, then Middle Eastern fragrances are the way to go. Like you can literally get something that's so affordable and going to be amazing, um, and comparable to, if not even better than, designer perfumes. And yeah, I'm excited to see Lattafa doing well. So that's amazing. We have this new fragrance with top notes of green mandarin, juicy black currant, a heart of lush gardenia, strawberry fizz candy, and then a base of sandalwood, vanilla, amber, and musk. Here's the thing. I know that you're probably expecting me to like buy this perfume, but here's my thing, and like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be getting this one. I might get a decant. I have Yara Tous, the mango one, and when I tell you that is one of my least used fragrances in my fragrance collection because I cannot bring myself to use it because it's not a fragrance profile that I can like wear over and over again. I get sick of it rather quickly. But also the packaging is just not my favorite. Like some people think it's cute. It's not my cup of tea. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to purchase this one because I'm like, do I want another Yara in my collection? I don't know. But I would be interested in maybe getting a decant. I think actually I might be getting like more decants of Middle Eastern fragrances moving forward because it's a lot. Like it's a lot purchasing Middle Eastern perfumes. You they take up a lot of room. I blind buy them a lot, and that's why I'm like I don't know. I might just be getting a travel size of this so I can review it for you. Next up, we have another release by Givenchy. This is Givenchy L'Interdit Absolu, a flanker of their original L'Interdit fragrance, and this is already available and it is in their permanent line. This perfume will have top notes of lavender, cardamom, and neroli, a heart of white flowers, and then a base of vetiver, patchouli, smoky tobacco, and rum absolute. So we have here a fragrance. Let me see. Is this marketed towards women and men? No, it's marketed towards women. It's kind of interesting because this is a fragrance that's supposed to be feminine, but it has a lot of like more unisex leaning, masculine leaning fragrance notes. So I'm curious to see how this one will smell. This is definitely one that I'm intrigued by. Typically, you will see lavender and cardamom, especially in the designer realm, be focused more on men's fragrances. Same thing with vetiver, smoky tobacco. You typically don't see those fragrance notes for women. So this seems to be a little bit of a different fragrance. I'm excited to smell it. This is going to be an aromatic floral perfume. Okay, so this next fragrance is going to be called Boss Alive. It's by Hugo Boss, and this is going to be marketed for women. This is a fragrance with top notes of leather, a heart of vanilla, and a base of patchouli, and this generally will be an amber, woody, gourmand perfume. This is the first time I think I've ever seen a designer women's fragrance feature the note of leather. This is definitely very different. I'm curious to see how this will smell, but I'm also curious to see other people's perception on it because leather is one of those fragrance notes that people get really scared of. And I say this as someone who loves leather. Leather is one of my favorite notes of all time. Like I love leather. Done right, it's very smooth, elegant, buttery. It can really get some compliments, and a lot of my favorite fragrances in my collection have the leather note. But this is designer fragrance, right? And designer fragrances, they're usually people's first foray into the fragrance world, if you will. When someone is trying fragrance for the first time, they will typically go for a designer scent. And I can only imagine selling this as a sales associate, just like putting myself into the sales associate role for a minute, selling a fragrance and telling the customer that it has a leather note. I feel like it would scare a lot of people. So I'm wondering how they'll market this in the stores. They'll probably, I guess, focus a little bit more on the boozy element, like maybe the vanilla. I'm curious about this one. I really want to smell it. Like this is intriguing to me. I can see this being a little bit of a hard sell for some people who are sensitive to the leather note. I'm wondering if a lot of people would even be willing to try it because of that leather note. And again, I say this as someone who loves leather. Next up, we have a new release from Lancome. This is a flanker of La Vie Belle. This is La Vie Belle Elixir, and this is already available. It's in their permanent line, and this is essentially inspired by happiness, and it's a velvet floral perfume. The marketing copy always makes me chuckle sometimes. Not sometimes, not always, sometimes. So this has top notes of raspberry accord and bergamot, and it has a mid of violet leaf absolute and rose heart absolute, and then a base of cocoa butter absolute, leather accord, Virginia cedar. Leather, again. That is unexpected. Okay. I was not expecting that. Okay, leather in 2 designer fragrance releases. I think that this one is actually going to do better. You know, you want to know why? Because of the raspberry. And because of like the gourmand notes here. I'm pretty sure this will do better than the other fragrance I just mentioned, purely because of that raspberry and the addition of those gourmand elements. I will tell you, some of the one of the most unexpected combinations that I also really love is leather with raspberry. Those notes play off of one another in a really cool way, and I'm excited to see it in this. Like, I will be smelling this. I'm curious to see how people will respond to this one. Because the scent pyramid here is a little bit more complex, I can easily see them like in stores kind of masking the leather, and maybe not masking the leather but downplaying it, and maybe upselling the rose and the raspberry. Because in case you're not aware, but like if you've ever noticed, when you see a designer fragrance in the stores, they will typically only list like 3 notes. They won't even go into the scent pyramid. They will literally list like max 3 notes, just for the customer to see. And I can pretty much guarantee you leather will likely not be on that display. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure leather will not be on that display. They will definitely not be spotlighting it as much as some of the other notes, because that's what the customer sees first. And even if the customer will like it, and I'm sure they will, because leather and raspberry play really well with each other. So I can see this being a really pretty fragrance, and I can see a lot of people liking it. But I don't think that they'll necessarily be emphasizing the fact that this is a leather fragrance. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Those are all the fragrances I wanted to talk about. I feel like this is already going to be a very long video to edit. We'll see how far it gets cut down, but thank you for joining me until the end of this video. I hope you found this interesting. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these new releases, especially the designer ones. I'm kind of surprised. It's very exciting, obviously, like to see designer brands experiment more, because for so long designer brands, I don't want to say they haven't experimented, but it seems there has been like a little bit of a lull in the last few years, and now it's kind of picking up. It's becoming a little bit different. Like, obviously, okay, let me backtrack. We have had a lot of really interesting and iconic designer fragrance releases, but nothing that's like pushed the envelope that far. At least when you compare to niche brands, right? Niche brands are going to be experimenting more, but it seems that designer brands are now following suit, and I'm really excited to see where that will go, especially with some of these new fragrance releases. Let me know, what do you think of these releases down below in the comments. Let's discuss. If you want to binge watch the rest of the new fragrance releases series, there's a playlist linked down below, so be sure to watch all the videos you want. We have been doing this for a few months now, so like I have racked up a few of these videos, and I'm so glad that you are enjoying them as much as I'm enjoying creating these. This is a bit of like a lift to do like every single week, because I literally film these on Sundays and then I edit them and I post them ready for you on Monday. But I'm excited to see that it's worth it. I'm excited to see that you are enjoying these releases and finding these videos useful. So thank you very much for your support. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.